Marriage, with all its complexities and joys, has been a subject of fascination for centuries. Every couple, no matter how in love, faces the challenges of blending two lives into one harmonious partnership. In her book, Love Italian Style: The Secrets of My Hot and Happy Marriage, Melissa Gorga, star of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, invites readers into her world to explore the highs and lows of her marriage with Joe Gorga, offering her unique perspective on what it takes to keep a relationship passionate, loving, and enduring. This book is more than just a collection of relationship advice. It is an intimate glimpse into Melissa's life as a wife, mother, and celebrity. Through her candid storytelling and the sharing of personal anecdotes, Melissa paints a vivid picture of what Italian-style love means to her. Whether you agree with her views or not, there's no denying that Melissa's narrative is engaging, provocative, and filled with a fervor that mirrors her vibrant personality. A glimpse into Melissa's world. Melissa Gorga is not your average housewife. As a reality TV star, she lives her life in the public eye, with every aspect of her marriage scrutinized by millions. Despite this, Melissa and Joe Gorga have managed to maintain a marriage that, at least on the surface, seems to defy the odds. Love Italian Style opens with Melissa reflecting on the early days of her relationship with Joe, a whirlwind romance that set the foundation for what would become a passionate and intense marriage. From the beginning, Melissa makes it clear that her marriage is deeply rooted in traditional Italian values. She describes her husband, Joe, as the quintessential Italian man, strong, protective, and deeply committed to his family. Melissa's portrayal of Joe is one of admiration and respect, highlighting his role as the head of their household. This dynamic, Melissa explains, is central to the success of their marriage. But Love Italian Style is not just about Joe, it's also about Melissa's journey as a wife. She shares the lessons she's learned along the way, many of which challenge modern notions of marriage and gender roles. Melissa's approach to marriage is unapologetically old-fashioned, and she embraces this with a sense of pride and conviction. Her narrative is infused with a sense of nostalgia for the way things used to be, and she makes a compelling case for why these traditional values still matter today. The power of passion. One of the most recurring themes in Love Italian Style is the importance of passion in a marriage. Melissa believes that keeping the flame alive is essential to the longevity of any relationship. She recounts how she and Joe have worked tirelessly to maintain the physical and emotional connection that brought them together in the first place. This, Melissa argues, is not something that happens by accident. It requires effort, dedication, and a willingness to prioritize each other. Melissa's stories about the early days of her relationship with Joe are filled with passion and excitement. She describes how they would spend hours talking, laughing, and simply enjoying each other's company. These moments, Melissa says, were the building blocks of their marriage. But as time went on and life became more complicated with the addition of children, careers, and the pressures of fame, Melissa realized that they needed to be intentional about keeping that passion alive. To illustrate this point, Melissa shares a particularly memorable story about a trip she and Joe took to Italy. It was a time when their marriage was facing significant challenges, and they needed to reconnect. Away from the distractions of everyday life, Melissa and Joe were able to rediscover what drew them to each other in the first place. The trip, Melissa recounts, was a turning point in their marriage, reminding them of the importance of making time for each other, no matter how busy life gets. Melissa is candid about the fact that passion doesn't always come naturally, especially after years of marriage. She emphasizes the need for spontaneity, surprise, and a willingness to step out of one's comfort zone. Whether it's planning a romantic getaway, trying something new in the bedroom, or simply making time for date nights, Melissa argues that these small efforts can make a big difference in keeping the spark alive. The importance of traditional roles. One of the most controversial aspects of Love Italian Style is Melissa's stance on traditional gender roles within a marriage. Melissa is a strong proponent of the idea that men and women have distinct roles to play in a relationship, and that adhering to these roles is key to a successful marriage. She makes it clear that in her household, Joe is the breadwinner and protector, while she is the caretaker and nurturer. Melissa's perspective is deeply influenced by her Italian heritage, where traditional gender roles are still very much a part of the culture. She describes how growing up in an Italian-American family shaped her views on marriage and relationships. Melissa's mother, whom she speaks of with great admiration, was a stay-at-home mom who dedicated her life to her husband and children. This, Melissa believes, is the model for a successful marriage. In the book, Melissa discusses the concept of submission, a topic that has sparked much debate among readers. She argues that submitting to her husband's leadership has not made her weak or less of an equal partner, but rather has strengthened their bond. Melissa is quick to point out that submission does not mean subservience. Instead, it's about trusting and respecting her husband's decisions, while still having a voice in their relationship. Melissa's views on gender roles are likely to be polarizing, especially in a time when many women are fighting for equality and independence. However, Melissa is unapologetic about her beliefs. She explains that this dynamic works for her and Joe, and that it's one of the reasons their marriage has remained strong. Melissa acknowledges that her approach may not be for everyone, but she encourages readers to find what works for them and to be honest about what they want in a relationship. The role of intimacy. Intimacy, both physical and emotional, is a cornerstone of Melissa and Joe's marriage. Throughout Love Italian Style, Melissa emphasizes the importance of maintaining a strong physical connection with your spouse. She shares her belief that sex is not just an act of physical pleasure, but a way to communicate love, trust, and commitment. Melissa is open about the fact that intimacy has played a significant role in her marriage, and she offers advice on how to keep the physical aspect of a relationship exciting. She encourages couples to be adventurous, to communicate openly about their desires, and to make intimacy a priority. Melissa also touches on the challenges that many couples face when it comes to physical intimacy, such as the impact of stress, children, and aging. She offers practical tips on how to overcome these obstacles and maintain a healthy sex life. But intimacy, as Melissa describes it, goes beyond the physical. She discusses the importance of emotional intimacy and the need for couples to connect on a deeper level. Melissa shares how she and Joe have worked to build emotional intimacy through honest communication, trust, and vulnerability. She believes that emotional intimacy is the foundation of a strong marriage, and that without it, the physical aspect of a relationship will inevitably suffer. Balancing career and family. As a reality TV star, entrepreneur, and mother of 3, Melissa is no stranger to the challenges of balancing a career with family life. In Love Italian Style, she offers insights into how she manages to juggle her many responsibilities while still making time for her marriage. Melissa's career has always been a significant part of her identity, and she is passionate about pursuing her professional goals. However, she also recognizes the importance of being present for her family. Throughout the book, Melissa discusses the sacrifices she has made to ensure that her marriage and children remain a top priority. She shares her belief that while it's possible to have it all, it requires careful planning, time management, and a willingness to make tough decisions. Conclusion: Love Italian Style. Love Italian Style, The Secrets of My Hot and Happy Marriage is more than just a book about marriage. It's a love letter to Melissa's husband, her family, and her Italian heritage. Through her candid storytelling, Melissa offers readers a glimpse into her life and the values that have shaped her marriage. While her views may be controversial to some, there's no denying that Melissa's narrative is engaging, passionate, and filled with a sense of authenticity. Melissa Gorga's approach to marriage is deeply rooted in tradition, but it is also reflective of the unique challenges that modern couples face. Her emphasis on the importance of passion, intimacy, and communication is a reminder that a successful marriage requires effort and dedication. Whether you agree with her views or not, Love Italian Style offers valuable insights into what it takes to build and maintain a strong, loving relationship. In the end, Melissa's story is one of love for her husband, her family, and her culture. It's a story about finding balance, overcoming challenges, and keeping the flame alive, even in the face of adversity. For anyone looking to strengthen their marriage or simply gain a new perspective on relationships, Love Italian Style is a book that offers both inspiration and practical advice.